Our YouTube, welcome back. My name is Dylan Lustig, and in today we're finally going to be changing the starter out so I can have my car running, hopefully. So over here we've got the old starter, we've got the new starter that came in, as you can see, GM genuine. We still got to put the alternator back, it's still sitting back here, the battery's unplugged. We have the starter heat shield, which we'll talk about, and we also have some stainless zip ties. So we've got a lot to get to, but first I actually have to go over to one of my boys' house. He just so happens to live nearby, and he's got a jack that we're gonna borrow because last time, if you saw the short video that I posted, we used the jack from here in the Bronco, which is down there, and it worked fine. It's just not optimal, man. And we're working on gravel, so as high up you can get, the more comfortable you can get, the better it'll be. So let's go pick up this jack and then we can get started and hopefully have my car back. Hey, real quick boys, if you ever have the opportunity to get one of your girls' stuffed animals, you just... Alright, here we go. So we've got the car up, the wheel is off, got jacks down there. This time I think when I work, I'm gonna work in from the front this way. Last time I worked in from the side like that, but this time I'll do it from the front. I've got good enough space, so that'll be alright. Head over here, and as you can see, we've got our starter, and it's just an OEM replacement. I didn't do an upgrade. I saw, mixed opinions on that, but I went with the OEM one, so here it is. Just to compare, I'll bring the old one. There they are. I'm no starter expert, I'm just gonna switch them out, but new and old, there you go. We do have the heat shield, so we'll be putting the heat shield on, and then I bought these to zip tie over the heat shield because this is just held on with Velcro, and just for that little sense of security, we'll use these. And then I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to reuse the factory shield. I don't think I am, but I'll try. But let me just get this wrapped and then we'll start working under the car. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. We can actually reuse the factory heat shield, which I didn't think we'd be able to, but there's 2 bolts out here. You can't use the 3rd bolt obviously because we have the new heat shield there, but we'll use the 2 there and that'll hold that just fine enough. As for the actual DEI heat shield, here's what it would look like. There's excess, so if we undo this, obviously we'll do that and then put the zip ties around to hold it. But there is excess length over here, as you can tell. Now, I do think I brought scissors out, as you can see right here. I'm gonna cut probably like halfways. I'll have a little bit extra, like excess. I'd rather have a little extra than too short. So I'll cut a little bit, probably just take this 3rd like hook and loop, like Velcro patch off. And then we'll wrap it and then be good to go. Alright, here we go. The most dreaded part of any man's existence is trying to cut in a straight line. So let's line this baby up. And then we'll get the scissors. And then like I said, I want to have a little bit extra. I'd rather have a little bit extra than too much. But I think like right there. Okay. Alright, so there's our mark. Take that off. And just try and keep her straight. See if that's a straight line, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. After a little bit of fiddling, here is the final product. I did end up having to do like this sort of contraption using 2 because these are 11-inch cables and they still weren't long enough. So either buy longer cables or you'll just have to double cable like I did. I just put these backwards, so I kind of wasted 2. But I've got 2 on. They're nice, they're not going nowhere. And they'll hold it. So that's looking good. Now the hard part, getting under the car, unfortunately, and putting the starter back. So after an hour and 15 minutes of fighting with this starter, we finally have it back on. So here the starter is, it's wrapped, and the heat shield is here. There is a very, very tiny gap between the heat shield. This is my finger, that's all I can fit. and the header, but that's good enough. It's not making contact, so I'm not worried. But yeah, everything's back on. It took forever because it's a very tight fit down here. Honestly, the easiest way to do this would be to get this header off, the passenger side header, take it off, and then you have a lot more space to work with. But if you do it my way, you're just gonna have to fiddle around. It's a real tight space, but it is possible. So heat shield here, heat shield here. We've got the zip ties holding it all together. Everything is plugged in and connected. Now I just got to get the alternator back on, plug the battery on, and well, we'll see what happens. All right, real quick before I put my contraption away. So I was putting the alternator back on, and the bolt down here lined up pretty well, and it went in how it was supposed to. This one up here, however, did not, because the alternator, this little bracket thing, has to be pushed in, and it just wasn't aligned. So what I did in order to align it was got a piece of 2x4, put it on the jack, and then just slowly jacked the alternator up until it lined up, and I was able to put the bolt on. So a little bit of broke boy garage stuff, but it worked. If you ever run into the predicament, just try and get the car up so you can get the jack, and then start pushing the alternator up slowly until the bolt goes in. But worked out well, almost done. Finish the alternator intake back on, plug everything back in, battery back in, and we'll try and get this thing started. All right, we've got the alternator back on, and we've also got the serpentine belt back on. As you can see, serpentine belt, alternator's down there, everything's plugged in. All that's left now is to do the battery in the back, put the coder intake back on, and I think that's it. Obviously I have the bumper off, so we'll put the bumper back on too. But I'm gonna go inside and eat real quick because this is taking me considerably longer than it should have. But I'm gonna go eat, and then I'll check back in with you guys. Okay, moment of truth. We've got the starter back on, heat wrapped. We've got the battery back in. We've got the alternator back in. The belt's back on. Coder intake is back on. So we've got a heat wrap, brand new GM starter. We've got all these extra ground wires that we added. So the one back here, the one up there on the engine to the body, and then the one down there on the starter to the body. So we've got the extra ground wires. We've got a brand new starter. If the car doesn't start right now, I'm selling it and buying a Mustang. All right, let's see. Well, my windows aren't operating. Is it at the battery, man? Let's see if it... Yeah, see, so it says battery saver active. What's my battery voltage at? 9.9? Oh... Alright, the battery voltage is low, but I'm going to try and get her. No. Nope. I might need a new battery, dog. Now it's at 10 volts. Let's try that one more time. Oh yeah, bud. Loud over there, bro. Alright, I heard that starter working, so the starter is good and the car is starting, but that battery voltage was super low. Ideally you want it around 12 and then 14 on startup. It could just be that the car has been used, and so I'm gonna see if maybe the car will put some charge into the battery. If not, I'm either looking at buying a new battery or getting that one to see if it's good and getting it charged again, because I did just have it charged, but just as like a week and a half ago when this all happened. But for now, you guys hear the chopping. I love it. I love it. That's success. Okay, Okay, so far so good. I just turned the motor off because there's a couple more things I need to do. One, put the bumper back on. So we'll get the bumper back on, and then I've got a lot of cleaning to do between the two cars. Jack's got to go back to my buddy. All this needs to be cleaned, put into here, stuff transferred, all types of junk. So I'm gonna do all that, and then we'll crank it again and see how it does. The car probably ran, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. So we'll see how the battery is doing. But yeah, let me get to work on all this boring stuff. But so far, this is the first time on this channel that we did something the first time and it worked. So I'm pumped, bro. I'm pumped. But let me get this boring stuff out the way, and we'll be back, take the car for a drive, and see how it does. All right, as you can see, it is now nighttime, but I'm finally done. I cleaned everything up. You guys saw earlier in the video, the car started, so that's good. Right now, after letting it run, I haven't driven it, but it got up to like 10 volts. It was at 9 when we first like turned the car and checked. It's at 10. If push comes to shove, I'm gonna have to replace the battery. This battery is a lead acid battery, and I heard that from the factory these cars take AGM batteries. So if that's the case, then I'll just go ahead and upgrade from lead acid to the AGM if I have to replace this battery. Right now, obviously, I don't want to spend another $200, $250 on a battery, but if push comes to shove, that's what it is, and I'll take that time to do an upgrade from the lead acid to the AGM. As for the starter, installing it is a pain if you don't take the passenger side header off. It's just a really tight space. You're able to do it. Obviously, I did it. It took me about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes to get everything done. That's including, you know, wrapping it, recording for you guys and stuff like that. So for you guys, you'd probably be able to do it in about an hour, but it was a little of a struggle. It wasn't hard per se. It was just kind of annoying and tedious, but we got it done. So the starter's good. The car started. I think that's what I'm going to call it for today's video. Tomorrow we'll do some sort of driving video, whether that's a first pulls video or maybe even a racing video. I've got a boy that's been talking trash, so we might have to race, but all that stuff will happen in the next video you guys see. But for now, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comment sections below, and I'll go ahead and answer all of them. I do my best to answer all of you guys' comments. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and until the next video, I'm out here. Also, real quick, for the guys that have made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching the entire video. I do want to say sorry for the lack of content lately. I tried to do a couple shorts and I put those out. One, obviously the car's been down, so I haven't really had my main source of content. But second, I started a new job, and so I'm trying to sort of figure out a schedule in terms of working and then doing stuff, you know, in my personal life, and also making content for you guys. I'm kind of getting it down, so you guys should be getting more content. And now that I have the car back, obviously, much easier to make content. So I'll be doing shorts. If you're not following me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok. I do the YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and I'm trying to put out as much content for you guys as I can. Like I said, having a car makes that so much easier. So if you stuck around this far, if you just subscribed, thank you. We're gonna get into that more good stuff. I need to do an oil change. I'm already past my break-in, my 500 miles, so we'll do an oil change soon, and then after that, I mean, we'll let this thing rip. So if you've made it this far, again, thank you for watching, and more good stuff coming.